Hey, viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist, and welcome back to Sir You're Being Hunted. This episode 645. So, it's just another podcast filler episode, this one, because it's actually a new recording session since I obviously recorded the previous episode. I'm just sort of, making sure I have a bit of content just to, once again, get the YouTube upload schedule fairly sort of filled out and all that. And I'm actually recording this whilst I'm waiting for my evening meal to cook. It's going to take about flipping 25 minutes or so for it to cook, which is plenty of time to do a podcast-style episode and all that. The thing is, I have a topic of conversation in mind, but before I actually get around to that, sorry if I'm fluffing my words, it's late in an afternoon, okay? But no, something actually I do want to mention, just by way of a bit of an announcement, kind of, before anything else. By the time this episode of Sir goes out, some of you probably will already be aware that the Martha is Dead series that I was doing has kind of ended quite prematurely. So, in case you weren't aware of what that is, basically, during the Easter holidays, I started a new playthrough, a main series on the channel of a game called Martha is Dead, which is basically tagged on Steam as being sort of like a psychological horror set during, set in Italy during World War II. And I played, enough for 2 episodes, but a couple of days ago I released the second episode on the channel, and basically, in that video I pretty much said that I'm putting that series on hiatus, because unfortunately it's become very apparent to me from playing that game that it kind of has performance issues. Some real performance issues, in fact. If you've seen the videos, the 2 episodes I've done of that game, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just the frame rate in it really, really stutters quite a lot. And sometimes the loading screens flip in. I'm not joking, they take so long. I had one loading screen in that game that took, honestly, 15 or 16 minutes to actually load up the next level, which is a crazy long time for a loading screen just to be sat there waiting for something to happen. And the thing is, I thought to myself, partly that's probably because obviously my current PC is getting old, but even so, I don't think it's entirely my PC that's to blame, because I was looking through the reviews for the game again, and whilst Martha is Dead does get mainly positive reviews, one thing I did really notice is that there is a consistent theme across a lot of them, both the positive and the negative reviews, which is that performance-wise the game has some real optimization issues. So, yeah, I'm starting to think that, because in the second episode of it I basically said, yeah, I'm putting the series on hiatus, and I probably will come back to it sometime in the distant future when I eventually get a better PC, but I'm starting to think that even then, that might not necessarily cure the optimization issues. That might still result in, that might still leave the gates open to all kinds of, frame rate problems and things like that. But having said that, it's not just frame rate stutters that I've had in that game. In the first episode, there was also a crash at one point. And then in the second episode, there was a freaking, if you watched it up to the end of the video, there was a bug where I couldn't actually quit out the game, because for some reason my mouse cursor showed up in-game but not on the main menu screen, which was kind of weird, but hey, what can you do? Alright, let me try and distract these guys. So yes, unfortunately, like I say, Martha is Dead, series is over, for the moment anyway, but like I say, I may well eventually come back to it, hopefully if I ever, not if I ever, but when I get a much better computer, something that might just be able to handle it at a bit more of a stable rate or whatever. Right, let me just oh god, I really need to replace my bloody right mouse button as well. I've noticed these last few days my right mouse button has been getting steadily worse. It's becoming less and less responsive. So I'm thinking probably what I'm going to do is tomorrow morning I'm going to actually nip across to my nearest Curry's PC World and just see if I can buy a new mouse, basically. Just get like a simple USB mouse, something really, easy. Doesn't have to be something fancy or expensive, just something that I can use. Can I not? There we go. Thought for a second I couldn't pick that up then. Very weird. Right, let me do some inventory management. Yeah, there we go. Take. There we go. Fantastic. There's still 2 more device pieces. Oh, unless these are the ones, actually. The remaining 2, I don't know. So yeah, that's just some quick announcements that I wanted to make at the start of this episode before anything else. Martha is Dead is on indefinite hiatus, and I need to freaking get myself a new mouse. I mean, I've been saying for some time that I need to get a new mouse because I've been aware of the problem with it at the moment. Like I say, it's just sometimes the right mouse button is just no longer being as responsive as it was, and we've been seeing that for some time. For example, here in Sir, but also in some of my FPS games that I've played recently, where I'm trying to hold down the right mouse button to go into iron sights, and it doesn't quite work properly. So yeah, I think, like I say, tomorrow morning, the day after I record this, I'm frigging going to Curry's PC World, and I'm just going to get myself a new mouse. And if I can't get one from there, then I'll try and order one online. Try and get next day delivery or something, I don't know. Maybe from the Curry's PC World website or just wherever. Just get myself a new mouse, so then it solves all the problems. But yes, it's not just my mouse. It is my PC more generally that's just showing signs of its age. I mean, one of the key signs of age of a computer more generally is just when it starts to kind of, when you're trying to run various tasks and it starts running more and more slowly. And I do get that quite often now when I'm trying to run, for example, like Microsoft Office applications. Sometimes it really stutters a bit. Okay, so there are definitely 2 more device pieces on this island, looking at that thing down at the bottom. But yeah, I'll keep thinking about that, and I'll just have to save money up. Because the thing is, this current PC build that I'm on was not cheap. It did cost a lot of money. And, I got some good value out of it. It could handle some really good games. But, whatever PC I eventually buy to replace this one, I want it to be as good. Possibly maybe even better. I don't know. But of course that means whatever I buy is not going to be cheap. So I'm going to need to save up plenty of money for it, ladies and gents. In fact, I do increasingly have a plan as well to maybe get myself eventually a new gaming PC. For obviously, playing great games that I can record and then put on my YouTube channel. But also there's a part of me that's thinking as well, I might invest in a personal laptop, because the thing is, whenever I go visiting friends and family back up in the north of England during holidays, whether that's Christmas or Easter or during the summer, I always obviously want to be able to still have access to things like email in case I ever need to check things like that, or in case I have any work that needs doing over the holidays. So I always have to kind of take my computer with me, which is fine, but it's always just a bit sort of not impractical, because I can do this, but obviously I always have to sort of disconnect it all in advance of when I'm going to be travelling, and then load it into my car and take it with me, which obviously, it's not the most convenient thing in the world, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I'm starting to think increasingly that it would be good maybe to have like a little personal laptop. It doesn't have to be anything powerful or special, maybe just something small that I can just kind of something small, something budget, something that I can just use for general personal use, like watching YouTube videos, doing work on in Microsoft Office applications, things like that. And like I say, it wouldn't need to be anything expensive, just something maybe budget, something that's not too much to buy. And then instead of having to disconnect my PC and load that into my car and take it with me every time I go back up north to visit friends and family, instead I could just take the laptop, and it would save me a load of time when I'm packing things up and preparing everything to be loaded in preparation for transit and all that. So that's a plan, ladies and gentlemen, something I have in mind. I mean, then again, I could sort of fuse both of those ideas, couldn't I? I could get myself a gaming laptop, and that way I wouldn't have necessarily have to have 2 things. But having said that, I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not 100% sold on that idea just yet, because the thing about obviously laptops is, I think compared to desktop PCs, I don't know, do they have as great specs? I feel like their hard drives, for example, maybe have much less space on them, to put it that way. Because the thing is, I'm pretty sure this PC build I'm on at the moment is like a sort of 2 terabyte hard drive space and all that, which is really good, because it means you can have lots of games installed all at once. You know, you can have lots of recordings to work with. Because obviously, you know, even Bandicam recordings do take up a bit of disk space and all that. But yeah, it's good for that. But obviously, I don't know, gaming laptops. I'd have to see. I have to look at their specs and just see, would it make more sense, perhaps to use, or maybe buy a gaming laptop and use that instead of a full-on gaming PC, and then just a budget, you know, budget personal laptop for other stuff. It's ideas, folks. I'll be turning them over in my head as I go along. Right, now looking at time, I've just spent basically the first 10 minutes of this video actually rabbiting on about something that wasn't actually going to be the main topic of conversation for this. No, the actual main topic of conversation I was thinking about before I started this recording session, I was thinking about food. As I was putting my evening meal on into the oven to cook, I was actually just thinking about the subject of comfort food, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, that's probably actually a better topic that I could be talking about if I had Phil and Connor here with me. What's your go-to comfort food, ladies and gentlemen? Or just what's like a sort of a meal that you always love to have? Just something really simple, nothing fancy. Not a meal as in something you'd have at a fancy restaurant, but what's just like a comfort food meal that you would whip yourself together? Something really easy to make, say on a rainy Saturday or something, when you're in, it's getting towards lunchtime, you're not really sure what you're going to have to eat, and you just think, oh, I'll just go for something like that that's really simple, really filling, really nice. I must say, for me and my family, it often is poached eggs on toast. That's a real comfort food. Especially if what we do is we do the toast, and then we actually melt some cheese on it. So it's kind of like cheese on toast with poached egg. And, you know, you get a nice sort of runny poached egg, and when you get your knife and cut into it, and the yolk sort of like nicely pools out. You drizzle it in ketchup and all that. It tastes really, really good. So that's definitely a comfort meal right there, ladies and gentlemen. Other stuff that's often a comfort food for me is just grilling up some fish fingers and just having a fish finger sandwich or whatever. You know, nothing fancy, ladies and gentlemen. I know how to live, ladies and gents. I mean, what I've got actually in the oven at the moment is another really simple meal. Just some sausages and some hash browns. In fact, actually, I need to put some beans into a pan on the hob in a second. So actually, I probably am going to need to wrap this episode up very soon. Who's shooting in the background over there? Just more robots, no doubt. Alright, but yeah, that's what I kind of wanted to talk about, and come to think of it, actually, that topic of conversation has been exhausted very, very quickly. So, unfortunate, but there you go. Turns out the main topic of conversation was me speculating about what I'm going to do in the future about, you know, new PC builds and whatever else have you, whether I'm going to get a new gaming rig or whether I'll go for a laptop or whatever else have you. I'll have to look, you know, but if you have any thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen, you know, if you lean particularly towards a proper gaming PC, or maybe if you're of the gaming laptop variety, maybe you can let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts? Because there's probably, you know, pros and cons to either or, isn't there, ladies and gentlemen? So it's just a matter of balancing them and figuring out what's best for you. So, yeah, there's a thought. There's a thought, ladies and gents. But I'll think about it. Alright, fuck it, I'm just going to wrap this episode up here because I've waffled on enough. And like I say, I kind of need to go back to my kitchen and just start putting the baked beans on the hob to start heating up and all that. So I hope you'll join me for the next episode and all that. Could do with getting Phil and Connor on Discord. God, sorry, I'm getting gas from me cup of tea that I had a moment ago. Caught in my throat. No, I was just going to say, actually, I could do with getting Phil and Connor back on Discord for another collab Sir You Being Hunted episode or whatever. I've really been wanting to do Sir multiplayer with Connor, but lately, the last couple of times we've tried to get it running, it just doesn't seem to work properly. I don't know what it is. Whenever we try going onto one of the official servers, it just doesn't seem to work. Like I just get stuck on the loading screen. Not sure why. So maybe there's technical issues, who knows. I'll keep trying. Right, Facebook and Twitter links are down below, along with the links to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. If you enjoyed, a like is of course always appreciated. But other than that, I'm signing off now. Goodbye everybody. So, maybe it's not huge, but it might be enough for a decent length episode. We'll see. Right. I do love that there's been an attempt to take the level 5 aesthetic and try for something unique looking with the orange background, but oh, bastards. There we go. Right, go down. Oh, got so many coins. I'm sure I'm going to get another life at some point here. Gotcha. I see you 3 over there. Close so tough even. You can take out 3 enemies at once. Right. There we go, there's the extra life. You fucking do it up there. Perch like an asshole. Right. Missed. Okay, hold on. We can do that again. Oh, I can't even use the ladder. It's just out of reach.